Hi, my name is Jason Morganson.
And I'm Merindy Morganson.
I'm a resident at Untitled Medical Center in Salinas, California.
And I'm a family practice doctor working here in Salinas as well.
Welcome to the Triqui 2006 DVD video.
This video is taken from our time in Oaxaca, Mexico, which is one of the southern states of Mexico, spent with time in Putla and time in Cerro Pájaro.
Which is out in western rural Oaxaca. So this was filmed in January of 2006 when we went there for international rotation. And the purpose of the video is to basically show people in the Merindy County area and other places who are taking care of patients from Oaxaca a little bit of what one of the indigenous groups is like down in Oaxaca and what it's like to live there and where they're coming from. The Triqui culture has three different distinct languages or dialects of the language, and they live in three different areas in San Juan Copala area, Chicohuaxtla, and San Martin and Toñoso. We'll be focusing mostly on the San Juan Copala area because that's where most of our patients in the Merindy County area come from who are Triqui.
It's also the largest group.
Yeah, it's also the largest group. There's more information on the Triqui website CD as well as the audio CD that's included with this DVD. And they're meant to all sort of work together to help you learn more about the culture. The first part of the video is the violin player. This is actually filmed in Oaxaca City. The violin is an instrument that's been used since it was brought over from Europe, and many of the tunes are actually from old Europe. But it's an instrument that the Triquis play a lot, and you can hear more of the Triqui violin music on the audio CD as well. So. We'll be having small introductions to each part of this video.
So you'll be seeing us again.
So sit back and enjoy.
This is the introduction to the wedding of Rafael and Carmen. It was in San Juan Copala. We took a truck ride from Cerro Pájaro to San Juan Copala, which took about 3 hours and was bumpy and over a twisty, windy road, which we'll see some of. They had a traditional wedding, somewhat modern wedding influenced by the European tradition. In the traditional wedding, many of the couples don't go to a church. They're surrounded by their families in the community and carry out the traditional ceremonies. This wedding, as you can see, was influenced by the European tradition. It was held in a church, and the padre performed the ceremony. And you'll see elements of the traditional wedding and the more European influence throughout the video of this segment. You'll see that Carmen and many of the women are wearing a traditional huipil. It is a hand-embroidered garment done on a hand loom. As you can see, I have one on. It has detailed embroidery, or not embroidery, but weavings in the upper part and some in the stripes throughout. Different huipils are different for each of the different communities, and the perhaps later in the video you'll notice that some of the weepiels are short and some of them are long and some of them are more intricately embroidered or woven than the others. It's all weaving, not embroidery. And then they have the traditional listones, or ribbons, sewn into them, and ones in the back. The wedding dress that Carmen has on also has a collar of beading. She was wearing a collar of beading that has the additional ribbons on it. Those aren't part of the weepiel. So you'll notice the differences between the women, and especially between the bride and the other women, as far as the clothing is concerned. Also in the video you'll see the different dances. The women dance differently than the men dance, and the women dance in one group and the men dance in a different group, and usually each group watches the other group while they're dancing. So it's not traditionally done at the same time, though sometimes they're dancing side by side, but they don't interact as they dance. And then at the end of this segment you'll see the influence of the European or more modern influence as well, as they have a banda, and some of the couples are dancing together at the end of the ceremony, and the wedding cake and all the things that are not traditional Triqui influences.
Recibe este anillo como signo de mi amor y fidelidad. En el nombre del Padre, del Hijo, del Espíritu Santo. Amén.
In the next segment, you will hear a little bit from Bruce Hollenbach, also known as Fernando Hollenbach. He and his wife Barbara, also known as Elena Hollenbach, are linguists in Oaxaca who have worked with the Triqui since the 1960s to create a dictionary as well as grammar for the book, for the Triqui language. On the website CD, you will find their works that they have accomplished so far with the Triqui language. They are also working with the Mixtecos. They are Bible translators, so much of this work has been put towards that. But as of right now, no one else has done any of this type of work with the Triqui language. The Triqui language, a little bit about the background, history, general information about the language.
Yeah, well, what we know about the Triquis goes back quite a long way. They're one of the few groups that, as far as we know, were never dominated by anybody, either the Aztecs or the Spanish. One way that they avoided being dominated was they took off to live in the mountains, and they live in rather relatively undesirable country today because they chose to simply get out of the way of the people who were running all the rest of Mexico. Language-wise, they're understood to be part of the Mixtecan family of languages, and there are certain roots. There are certain aspects of the language that are still common between Mixtec and Triqui, even though the languages have separated entirely, and there's absolutely no intelligibility among them today. And their cultures have varied considerably as well. The Triqui simply have an entirely different character from the Mixtec people. As far as the language, as I say, as far as the language itself is concerned, it's usually a difficult one for outsiders to learn because of the many sound characteristics that it has, which simply don't exist in English or Spanish or other major world languages. Things like contrasts in length in the vowels, nasalization of the vowels, the glottal stop, and of course especially the tone, which is one of the things that people notice right away, which is very often the only thing that distinguishes one word or phrase from another. So yeah, they're really different, and in character they're very independent people. And traditionally, and all the time that we've known them anyway, they've been a people that tends quite readily to violence when frustrated. And of course they are frustrated quite a bit, especially in dealing with the outside world. And that often results in internal violence, and that's what we see. That's what we've seen most of from 40 years ago until today. Their frustration is not able to be resolved by dealing effectively with the outside world, but they deal with it pretty much by taking off after one another.
So the Triqui language is part of sort of a branch off of Mixtec long time ago.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. And even today, as I say, there are certain aspects of the language. For instance, there are certain roots that are the same, like the word for house, for instance, is identifiably the same morpheme.
Mm-hmm.
And there are quite a few other individual morphemes. And then certain rather peculiar aspects of the language. For instance, these are the only two languages in the world that I'm aware of. Now, there could well be others, but where there are two words for give. If the recipient of the giving is in the first or second person, then there's a special give word that's used. I give it to you, or you give it to me. There's a particular give word for that. However, if it's you or I giving to him, or somebody else giving to him, that's a different word.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm speaking now of both Mixtec and Triqui. And interestingly, that word is the same as the word for hit. So I give to you, but I hit to him. If I have something to give.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's to me kind of an interesting example of something, you know, a common root that survived over literally millennia, we suppose, but is rather peculiar to the languages in this part of the world.
Mm-hmm. And what is your mission then here, like with the Triquis? And right now you're working with the Mixtecs more, but before you were working with the Triquis.
Well, we years ago finished a translation of the New Testament for the Triqui people, which for various reasons never really saw much use or interest. That's kind of changed in very recent years, especially down in the area around Pula. And that's because of the efforts of other people to evangelize the Triquis and